card. Okay. The purpose of the constructor is, while creating an object, if you want to set some values, or if you want to create initialize some new values to the particular class, then we need to we need to create a constructor there and need to get initialized. Okay, or if they want to make it some class to be called, some method to be called. So this is kind of like initialization, initialization. So for the initialization, we need to call the values, here in this method. For example, um, okay, I can say like this a sound is whenever you make it, this will be called, right? I'm going to call one more method here. Okay.
Sir, we can see only your
Already
background.
drive page.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm not sharing the Eclipse. Let me share you back. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. And share as well. Okay. Are you able to see now?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Right.
you.
Okay. Okay. There is initialize method here. I'm writing now. Okay. Okay. I'm saying like in here, we can perform some kind of a starting and initializing methods. For example, in real time, before start the car, what we do is something will make, before we move it, right? We'll start testing, right, whether it is properly there or not. Something will on the start the car and test that functioning brakes, or brakes are happening, and accelerator is properly working, and moving is happening back and forth, and lights are functioning, doors are properly closing, that are like we will initialize that activity, right? We should not directly open and kick start and move on, right? So because that those are some kind of a precautions and readiness. So if you see something suddenly, like as you start, like brake or accelerator, or it won't work, then like what you do it first, that is, you will consider that is an emergency to need to update, fix that issue and move on. So that way, for every class also, what we can say is that kind of a preliminary checks, we say. Okay. before we start that like initialization, okay, we used to say that stuff we can do it here in this method. Something I can say. Um, Animal class is initialized and ready to use. Okay. So this method, so previously, if you want to call this method, once you create the object, on the object, we need to create, right? That is the way, because how we are making call this method sound. Where it is? Where are you writing this? Not this one. Okay, I'll go back. Okay, I'll go to demo here. Oops, demo. Now you see here, just we want to use this, like we need to create the object for any class and need to explicitly call this method. But what I do is I create an animal class here. Okay. Just write initialize method here and the constructor. So animal constructor call. Okay. After that, I do is initialize method. Okay. Now what will happen? We'll see now. Okay. What I do is I'll run here. There are two things, right? Okay. Animal one, dog, and I'll do for cat as well. Nothing wrong. Animal two, I can say cat. Yesterday we discussed, right? That this is the one of the behavior. So left side, I'm not changing anything because references is always is a super class or parent class which can handle or catch, all its subclasses objects. So only we can play around with the objects wherever we can use it. It's kind of a loosely coupled. So whenever if you want to change, like let's not make it so many changes at left side because this piece is like remain same. Only by making this like we are changing the behavior. We are not changing any of the code here, right? So I do it, but I put here dog and cat. Now you see that I'm calling now. So let's see. You see that animal constructor call. So animal class is initialized and ready to use. You see this? So this is example I'm saying, okay. I didn't call the method, which method? This is initialized method, right? Initialized method, I didn't call it, but it got called because of the constructor. Even constructor also, I didn't call it explicitly. Why it got called? Because that is a JVM will understand for if you create any object of the subclass, any new, okay, what are the constructors are available, that will be called automatically. Okay, clear? So so that is the purpose of, so if the initialize method is like something we are doing explicitly, so if you want to call that method, so that is the only way that we can use constructor. Clear? So the same thing, like as we written here, we didn't use anywhere the dog classes or cat classes because we define in, though we define in animal class, it's being called because of the inheritance, because whatever the methods are using, that the same thing being used are extracted to um, subclasses. Okay. Now you see for cat also, as soon as we create the cat, again, this all the process started, you see. So animal constructor called. So animal class is initialized and ready to use. This is for cat. Okay. And this is a, again, this is like as cat also having one more constructor, right? So that's what, like, cat also called, and we explicitly call this method called sound. That's what cat is sounding. So this is the inheritance where we need to understand, practice it more. This is pretty simple. What is the parent class is able to cache of the properties, or the object of the subclasses, so that it can be used. So without changing any of the code base, so just by we can play around with all the subclasses. So this is like static. I put it here, but yeah, we can also pass dynamically. That I'll tell you that. Okay, what is how can you pass values are dynamically those objects? Okay, okay. Now this yeah. Any other questions on it? Okay. If you don't have it, okay, then I'll jump on to other topic.
Sir,
Yes, go
one
ahead.
question not related to this.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, sometimes we use public static void main string argument.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we use public class. We don't use string arguments like that. Why, sir?
This one you are saying?
Yes, sir.
No, what
In
I mean, whenever you want the main method for JVM understand, like when I say engine yesterday, I mean I talked about it, right? Any demo class are this is the engine, this is a triggering point, right? So if you write that other method, for example, if you don't write others, you see this. Okay, what I do is you said like this, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. If you write this one, this will treat as a normal method. Now you see, when you run this one, this class is having only two methods, right? One is public static void main string arguments, and other method,
Yes, sir.
other main method without having arguments. Now when I run it, I'm not doing it. I'm giving anything to the class while running, just a Java application. What happened? Which method called
Hmm.
automatically?
String arguments.
Right. So this is the one, like in a JVM understand this. So this got registered at JVM. Okay. Something like how can we recognize this, where need to call